Hi everyone, my name is Udkoff and I'm an interior architectural designer. I specialize in designing mikvaot and sacred spaces, and I also create laser cut, Kabbalistic, Hasidic artwork based on many in-depth learnings, and yeah, Baruch Hashem. So what I would like to speak about tonight is, especially since we're just finishing Rosh Chodesh Adar, I would like to speak about the month of Adar and all the attributes and things like that. And I would also like to share with you two of my new pieces that I'm very excited about. So, Baruch Hashem. The first piece that I would like to share, it's called an armillary sphere. It is in progress at the moment. But basically, I got this concept from Sefer Yetzirah, where it shows a diagram of planets and mazalot and how they're connected to each other and the planets and the positions and the degrees of everything. So basically I'm working on that. I was trying to figure out what it was, and I finally realized that it's an armillary sphere. So this is basically what it looks like. It has many details. It's a little difficult to see. This picture right here is actually of the mazalos according to one of the sources from Sefer Yetzirah as well. This is the Earth and the planets, the Earth in the center, and it shows in the center that I added here. Let me take this apart so I can actually show it to you a little bit. Where the central Earth right here actually has the elements, the worlds. I don't know if you could see it in this lighting, but it basically has the different levels of worlds, the Yud-K, Vav-K permutations that are connected to each level, the souls, the levels of souls, and the elements, Eish, Ruach, Mayim, Afar, and how that all correlates to each other. This top part is showing the northern hemisphere and the bottom hemispherical ring. And then this part right here, the central part, is showing, my planets are falling off. That's what's actually, I'll show you a planet up close. So I have each of these planets. Let me see if it focuses a little bit. I don't know if it's focusing there. Kind of. This is, yeah, there we go. This is one of the planets. This is Venus, and this symbol over here is actually the angelic seal of that planet. So the seal for the specific planet according to the specific angels. This is the sun, and that's the seal for the sun according to Sefer Yetzirah. And over here in the center, it shows each of the months. So this is actually Adar, and it shows that it's the Dagim, the Mazal of the month, the zodiac of the month, as well as the letter Kuf. So it's connected to the letter Kuf. So I'm going to be explaining more of what that actually means in a minute, but that's basically my my first work in progress that I'm working on. This is a prototype. Bezrat Hashem, it's going to be finished very soon, and I would love to get this out there and explain it more because there's so much depth, and just the sources from it and everything that I've been finding out has been absolutely incredible. So Baruch Hashem. The second thing that I wanted to show you, the second piece, is a new one that I actually just started today. And basically, I'm going to just straighten that out over here a little bit. And basically, this shows each of the months. And what their attributes, the tribe of the month, the Yud-K, Vav-K permutation of the month, because each month actually has a specific permutation of Hashem's name, of Yud-K, Vav-K, and Adonai, and as well as Ekia. So each one has specific meaning and specific psukim that actually correlate to the different permutations. So this piece right here, it's not glued, so it's a little difficult to show. But this piece right here shows all of that information. I'm not sure if you could see it on the, here, let me put Adar on top. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera so well, but I'm going to try to have that here. Whoop. And that turns, so you could actually turn it to whichever month that you're in, so you could actually know which month you're in. So this is Adar right here. And the mazal, the zodiac of Adar, is the dagim, the fish. The fish swimming upstream, the fish swimming downstream, which we're going to speak about a little later. It says Yosef here. It's one of the, which is one of the commentaries, one of the different opinions. But there's also another opinion that it's of the tribe of Naphtali. So it depends on which way you look at it and what order of the tribes you go around. And then right here, it says the energy of the month. I don't know if anybody could read that, but it says schok, which is laughter. So the energy of the month is laughter. And then this is a secondary attribute, which is also more different opinions. Most of the opinions, according to Sefer Yetzirah, go according to laughter. Actually, Sefer Yetzirah itself writes that it's laughter, but then there's other opinions, and another opinion is that it's oyev, which is enemies. And we're going to be speaking about that in a moment. And then the permutation of Hashem's name is Hey and Vav and Yud, and Ekya is Hey and Aleph and Yud, which is actually kind of the same permutation, because if you take the two Heys, Ekya and Yud K Vav K, the Heys are in the same place. You have Yud, which corresponds to Chachma, then you have Hey, which corresponds, here it is, Yud, which corresponds to Chachma, Hey, which corresponds to Bina. And then you have Vav, which corresponds to the emotions, which is the central part here. And then you have the final Hey as Malchus. And then Ekya is the same thing. Aleph would be Chachma, and then Hey would be Bina, and then the Yod would be the Zer Anpin, and then the final Hey would be Malchus. So it is actually in the same order if you would take both letters and arrange them the same way. So I'm going to speak about that part first. So the Yud K Vav K, the Yud K Vav K permutation of this month is Hey and Yud and Vav. Hey and Hey refers to, as I said before, refers to Bina and Malchus. They're both feminine energies, and it's both feminine energies, and it starts with that. It's the receiver. Really, the Bina receives the Chachma, and the Malchus receives the Zer Anpin. So it's the receiver. So we're starting from receiving everything from this entire year, because Adar is actually, Adar is in connection to Elul. It's like we're closing off the years and starting the year off new in Nisan. Nisan is one of the different Rosh Hashanahs of the year. There's 4 Rosh Hashanahs of the year, and Nisan is one of them. So in Elul, we're gathering all of the experiences that we've had this entire year, up from last Nisan until this Nisan. We're gathering it up within our intellect and our emotions, because they have the Hey and the Bina and the Bina and the Malchus. So you have the Bina gathering it from the Chachma of all your intellect from the entire year, gathering it. And then you have all of your emotions from the entire year, and you're gathering that into Malchus as well. So you have all that gathering energy, and that's what the first month, the permutation of the month starts with. It's the Hey, and then Yud, and then Vav. So you have all of that gathering, all of the intellect, all of the emotions, and then you have the Yud and the Vav. What are the Yud and the Vav? The Yud is the Chachma. It's that first spark. It's that first spark of wisdom. It's that energy and light down from Hashem. And then the Vav is actually a connection letter. It draws down everything. So that is, the Yud is just like that first emanation. The first emanation, you don't know what to do with it, and then you take the Bina, and then that's when you actually fully understand it. But you have the Hey and Hey, you gather everything, and then you have that spark, and the Yud and Vav are both masculine, and the Hey and Hey are both feminine. So you have that spark, you gather it, and then you have that spark, and then that's when you're able to actually draw it down within you and incorporate that within your life and bring it into your entire existence. So I said before that Adar and Elul are actually, they're opposite on the spectrum of the months, right? So if you see here, I'll actually just show you this one piece. But if you see here, you got Adar right on top here, and Elul right on the bottom. And that's actually why I have this, that you could spin it, so you could actually see what month it correlates. So I said that there's a Rosh Hashanah and Nisan, and when is the other Rosh Hashanah? The other Rosh Hashanah is in Tishrei. So Nisan and Tishrei are exactly opposite each other. So when a month is exactly opposite each other, in this array, it means that there's a correlation. So working on the spinning mechanism. Hashem. So when there's a correlation, we know that just like Elul, when we're gathering everything from an entire year, we're doing Teshuvah, we're preparing for the new year, Rosh Hashanah, and bringing that into our lives and really working on ourselves to gather everything that we've learned, that we've done, and doing Teshuvah for anything that we've done wrong for the entire year. Just like in Elul we do that, in Adar we do the same. So there's one more part that I didn't mention yet about, well, there's many other correlations to the months and what they correspond to, but there's one more correlation that I have in here that I haven't yet mentioned, and that is the letter of the month. The letter of the month of Adar is the letter Kuf. And I added the letter here on the side. Let's see if you can see it. You can see the Hey of Nisan. And that is the letter Kuf for the month of Adar. So the letter Kuf, now, why, I mean, I'm going to finish the rest of these, the Ezrat Hashem. But I chose to do the Kuf and the Hey, because both the Kuf and the Hey are the only two letters of the Aleph phase that have a roof, a wall, and a separate line. And what do these correspond to? They both correspond to the top part. Down. Thought, speech, and then action. Action is that separate part. Action is when you actually do it. Thought and speech are within you. You have thought in your head and then you speak it. And that allows it to come out. But once you actually do, once you actually turn that speech into action or thought into action, that's when it comes separate outside of your body and you're actually bringing it into the physical reality of this world. So the letter for the month of Adar is the letter Hey. The letter Kuf is the letter Kuf. So we have a thought, speech, and action, right? And the letter Kuf is the only letter besides for the final letters that goes down below the line. So the Kuf has this energy that draws everything down below the line of this earth, of this realm, and draws it down into the depths. So the Kuf actually has an imminent energy of negativity, where you have that thought and speech and action, and then you have that action where it goes down into the depths. And what happens when the actions go down into the depths? You do horrible things, and that's when it brings out this negative energy, this negative reaction. But really, every single thing in this world is a tikkun for something else. And that kuf, our tikkun for the month of Adar, is to bring that kuf, to draw that kuf, the low line that's reaching the depths, up through the line of the earth, right? And draw it up and bring it to the letter Hey, which is the letter of the month of Nisan. And then once we're able to transform that negative energy and bring that kuf up into the Hey, that's when we're able to fully take on this new year of Nisan, right? With the redemption of Nisan is the month of redemption. So when we're able to bring that kuf up, then we're able to be redeemed, and that's when we're able to truly and fully accept our full redemption. With Mashiach, Ezrat Hashem, and Nisan is very much a Mashiach month. It's the month with which Pesach is in, which is also the redemption from Egypt. That's our huge redemption story that we remember every single day. And may we all have the strength to bring that kuf up into the Hey and transform any of the darkness or evil energy into that Hey, into the positivity. Now, I mentioned that one of the energies of the month is laughter. And there's also another energy which most people know, but I mentioned before that the second energy that most people don't know is that the second energy of the month is the month of enemies. And what does that mean in our day-to-day life? How does that correlate to laughter? How does that connect to any of this? So as I mentioned, the kuf, it goes into the depths. So just like we're bringing that depths, the kuf, down from the depths up to the Hey, we're transforming the darkness into light, bringing that essence of the enemies, anything that's negative. It's not necessarily, and enemies also connects to Purim, where our arch enemy is mentioned, and we actually defeat him, is Haman. where v'nahapachu, bringing up, like mamash, turning it over. V'nahapachu means to flip it upside down, and it's really hefech is the opposite. So it's like from that darkness to the light, like this armillary sphere turns, and it could turn all the way around, bring it to the light, and transform that light into the darkness. So bringing that energy up. So transforming anything that are our enemies. And what are our enemies? What are our enemies nowadays? Who are our enemies nowadays? We could think of people who, have wronged us or this or that, but that's not what it means. Our true enemies within this day and this life, our true enemies are whatever we have inside ourselves. And anything that we have inside ourselves that tell us that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not good enough, we're not able to do this, anything that, any doubts, anything that turns us away from our true potential and our true connection to our God, to Hashem, is an enemy within ourselves. So this is specifically the power of the month. This month specifically has that power and is enabling us to overturn all of those thoughts of anything with doubt, anything that takes us down within ourselves. So any of this evil energy, I'm not worthy, I'm not good, I'm not confident, I'm not this, I'm not that, anything like that, we're able to overturn that and bring it to the good and actualize that goodness. We really have that power to actualize it, especially in this month. There's so much more. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the dagim, right? We have the fish. And I mentioned before that the fish are swimming upstream and the fish are swimming downstream. And just like what I said, v'nahapachul, the kuf, the enemies, everything. Oh yeah, right. And the whole energy is to turn the enemies into the laughter and get over that through the laughter. But so dagim, we have the fish swimming upstream and the fish swimming downstream. So this power of the month is that cyclical energy. Anything that brings us down. And it can bring us down, far, far down into the depths. But anything that brings us down has the power to bring us back up. And it's that cycle of the going and coming forth and the Yerida Litzorach Aliyah, the going down in order to come up. And when you come up, you come even higher. And a fish always when I think it's fascinating when there's a stream, right? A stream going downhill, and water always flows downhill, but then a fish is still able to swim upstream even when all of the force is pushing them down. So we have that power to swim upstream through any forces that push us down. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. So, and it's also, it all connects. It's so beautiful. The fish also, specifically the fish live in water. And the element of the month of Adar is water. It's an emotional month. Water connects to the emotions. And actually I could show here in this piece that this is the 231 gates, quick introduction. This is the 231 gates multiplied twice. And then on the bottom here, it shows levels of worlds and souls and Yud-K, Vav-K, and everything that correlates to it. So water, Mayim, water here, corresponds to the world of Yetzirah, the world of formation. I don't know if you could see it so well here. The world of formation, and the Vav of Hashem's name. Remember we were talking about the Vav bringing and drawing down Hashem's energy and light. It's also the emotional soul. So it's, yeah, and it also refers to the Ruach, which is the emotional soul. So the water also can drag us down. We can get caught up in all of the emotions of this and that, and fear and sadness and hatred and any of these negative emotions, negative things. We could get so caught up in this. But again, we have that power of the fish swimming upstream. We're able to go and overturn our emotions and use that for positivity and goodness and happiness and health. So the fish live in water, and the fish don't blink. They always keep their eyes open, and they're completely aware that the water is their life source. They know that if they leave that water, they're gonna die. But then I just heard in a shir the other day from Neely Salem that basically fish would actually jump out of the oceans in order to feel the rain. And I just thought that was such a beautiful, beautiful picture, that the fish completely are surrounded with water. They know their life force. They know everything around them. They feel, it's like almost as if we're feeling the kedusha around us within the air. Can you feel the air? Sometimes, but not necessarily are we always aware of it. But fish are aware of their surroundings. They're constantly aware of their surroundings, and they're constantly aware of their life force. And they're constantly aware of this life force, which is Hashem's energy and Hashem's light that's completely surrounding and within them. And so too, we have that. And the fish jumping out of that awareness just to get more, just to be able to have that infusion of beautiful, happy, holy, pure water coming from Shemayim. It's incredible. Baruch Hashem. That's it. I mean, designing mikvaot, it's a fascination of mine. When actually, when I first was starting to get into studying mikvaot and what the power of and energy of it is, I was in the beach in the ocean in Hawaii, and it was beautiful, warm water, and it started pouring rain, and it was the most blissful experience, because I was within the water of the grounds, but then also feeling the water of the heavens. Mamash, it was like completely surrounding me in all ways. So it's just like the fish and just like this energy, we should be able to tap into this. And now it's supposed to be a storm outside and any minute now. It's all day we've been like preparing and seeing all the winds and everything. And how the storm is starting. So yeah, it's really the time to connect to that water, to connect to that energy. Baruch Hashem. Another thing about Adar is that it's an acronym. So it's Aleph, Dalet, and Resh, right? Actually, a quick thing about Adar is that Aleph, Dalet, and Resh is the gematria, the numerical value of 205, which is actually the same gematria, the same numerical value as Hashem Elokim, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, Elokim Magen, shield. So I have many other works with the Magen Avraham, where Hashem says, the angels actually, Hashem says, Anochi Magen Lach, and the angels reply, Baruch Hashem Magen Avraham, and now we say this every day within our davening, within our prayers. But I just found that so incredible that in this month, it's Adar is the same gematria, the same numerical value as Hashem Elokim and Magen. Hashem is within and infused in this month, and our shield, our protection, our guidance, our everything. Baruch Hashem. And oh my gosh, there's so much more in Adar. So Adar is also an acronym for backwards. If you take Resh, Dalet, Aleph, for Resha Delo is Yada. Resha is Rosh, head. Delo is to not, that does not. It's Yada, no. So it's the head that does not know. What does that mean? So I feel that's very connected to the holiday of Purim, where we have this thing that we're not supposed to know the difference between Baruch Mordechai and Aror Haman. Blessed is Mordechai and cursed is Haman, right? So it's the holiday where we're actually supposed to get to that mental capacity that we don't even know the difference between good and evil. We don't even know the difference between Haman and Mordechai. And that's actually an interesting point, where Baruch Mordechai and Aror Haman is actually the same gematria, the same numerical value. So they are interchangeable. They are one and the same. And this is the time that we're able to actually realize that they are one and the same. And just like good and evil are both one and the same, it's all Hashem. And just like the fish is within the water and it's all Hashem, everything is all oneness. Everything is completely united within this month, and we're able to tap into that. Also, Adar can stand for Aleph, Dar. Aleph stands for Alufa Shel Olam, which is another saying for Hashem. And Dor is is to live, to dwell. So Hashem, Aleph, Alufa Shel Olam, Dar, Hashem dwells within this month. So Hashem's presence is completely evident in this incredible month of Adar, and we're able to v'nahapachu turn over the evil into goodness on anything and bring anything up from the depths. And this is kind of to summarize just a little bit. We have the hey and the hey and the vav and the yud and the vav, right? We have the hey and the hey, which is both the gathering, the mekabel, the receiving energy. So we're receiving everything from the entire year, and we're drawing it down into our actuality, into our lives, and we're able to v'nahapachu bring up anything from the depths, anything from this entire year that was anything wrong, anything negative, anything like that. We're able to completely transform it v'nahapachu into the Tov, into the goodness and the beauty and the holiness and the connection, and make it a connection. And we realize that everything that we go through, any hardship, any sadness, anything like that, is all, I mean, it's hard. It's easy to say, hard to take on, but it really is for the good. And we're able to take that maybe months later, maybe years later, maybe not any time. It's hard for us to transform our minds into this, but maybe sometime we're able to take those moments of hardship and see what good comes out of it and bring that into our lives and say, wow, this and this and this and this happened and it was horrible. But then that opened up so much opportunity for this, and this, and this. And I would never be able to be at this stage unless that happened. So then v'nahapachu, turning it over, makes you so happy that happened in the first place, that brought you to who you are right now. So may we all not have to go through that hardships, but if we have already gone through those hardships, or if we're in the middle of it, maybe we'll be able to get out of it and see the true goodness and see the true godliness and health within our soul and our bodies, and completely utilize those moments for what we needed to learn from them and grow and be the best that we are able to be. So, Baruch Hashem, Chodesh Tov. I hope that you all have such a beautiful, holy, blessed, wonderful, wonderful month of Adar, year of the next coming year. This is closing off all of everything that, if we had anything that we're in the middle of anything, this is the time to close it all off and accept the new year, the new month, the new season, the new us, and Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Kol Tuv. Thank you so much, Erez, for putting this festival on. This is incredible. There's so many amazing speakers all day. There's just been so much beautiful Torah and singing and art and music, and just everything was just so beautiful. And actually, in a few minutes, Rabbi Shais Taub is going to be speaking for the festival. So please sign on to that. It's going to be amazing. Rabbi Shais Taub and Erez are going to have a conversation. And Baruch Hashem, thank you so much. And Chodesh Tov.